All right, lesson 15, dividing fractions by whole numbers. So we're still working on that. We are looking at, this is 2/3. Okay, and now what if I wanted to divide 2/3 by 5? What would that look like if I was to model that out? So I would take the 2/3, I would draw 5 lines all the way across, just not within the 2/3. Okay, but within these 2/3, in the first section here, in the 1/3, I would take one of those 5 pieces and I draw a hashtag there, little hash lines, and then I would do it in the next one. So that I still have a numerator of 2, right? Now, the denominator, because I have all of these lines drawn all the way across, I have more pieces. So the denominator, if I count them out, because each one of these is 5, okay, is 15. Now let's have a look. That is 15 and 2, and then the numerator. Okay, we can also draw it out in this way. So we can have vertical lines or we can have horizontal lines, doesn't matter. But I want you to stop right now and do question number 3 because you will need it for slide 5 coming up. Okay, so I am looking at this question and noticing that in the numerator is a multiple of 5. So if I skip counted by 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, 20 is there, right? Because 5 times 4 is 20. So what I can do here instead, because it goes into the numerator evenly, I can skip some steps and I can divide that. Now, this is the step that you're skipping by doing this. Okay, so 17 multiplied by 5 is going to be equal to 85. The numerator is still 20, right? Now I have to reduce it. And so I'm going to reduce this by dividing by 5. Notice I'm dividing by 5. And now I am taking out what I put in. So the denominator is 17. And the answer to this is 4. So always just double check and see if the numerator is a multiple of the number that the whole number that you're dividing by. Okay, so I have 3.5 divided by 5, and what I want you to do is have a look and see in number 3 if there's any questions that will have the same answer. So work this out first and see if you can find one. Pause, please. Okay, so what you may have noticed, okay, is this is an actual question that's there, okay, when we change it to a mixed number. So the answer here will be 7/10. So there is a question there that is exactly the same. Okay, so I have 5.5 divided by 3. So what I'm going to have you calculate this, and then I have a question for you. So pause the video, please. Okay, so that's 11/2 divided by 3, which is going to be 11/6, which is 1 and 5/6. Okay, so I want to know, should the answer to this be between 1 and 2? So I'm checking for the reasonableness of my answer. So should this be on a number line in between 1 and 2, the answer? And the way that I can figure this out is saying what multiple of 3 on a number line will 5.5 fit between? So it's going to be between 5 and 6. So I know it's going to be somewhere between 3 times 1 and 3 times 2, because that is 6, right? So somewhere in there. Okay, so if I take the 2 and I take the 1 there, okay, I know that my answer should be in between those two numbers. All right, so we are going to look at the distributive property. Anybody who really understands how to do something can use the distributive property. So this is a good test for you. So I have 5.5 here, and 5.5 written in a mixed number form can also be written as 5 plus 1.5. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm going to divide 5.5 by 3 using the distributive property. So the first thing that I do is I separate the 5 and the 1/2 with the plus there. And I'm going to still divide both of those by 3. Okay, so what I do is I go 5 divided by 3 plus 1/2. Notice that's where I get the plus from, divided by 3. Okay, so I'm dividing both of those by 3. Now, we spent some time changing fractions into division statements, and now we're going to change this division statement into a fraction. Okay, and so I multiply there, so that will be 6. And now I can change this so that we have a common denominator. So this is going to be 10 over 6. Whoops, brain's not working today. 10 over 6, right? And plus 1/6, which is going to be 11/6, which if we change and reduce to our lowest form, it's going to be 1 5/6. So I'd like for you to keep this open while you work on your worksheet, because this will be a good example of how you do this.